By the black tide. This is the place. Probably. Come on, coins, jewels, cursed gold. Honestly, normal gold would be just fine as well. Ah, finally. This is Pirate Borg, and this starter set is absolutely loaded. Today we're going through the full Pirate Borg ecosystem, from the starter set to the core rulebook to Down Among the Dead and that sick Game Master screen over there, which was all sent over by our amazing friends at Free League. And if I'm being completely honest, this game system is currently sitting in the top slot for my favorite game of the year. But the real Starter Set Society question is, does it actually get a brand new crew playing? And if it does, is the rest of the ecosystem enough to keep sailing, keep dying, keep making terrible decisions, and keep coming back for more? Because a decent starter set gets you through the first session. A great starter set gets everybody looking around the table afterwards going, okay boss, where are we sailing to next? And Pirate Borg's answer seems to be anywhere and everywhere, which is aggressive. I respect it. Pirate Borg is a rules-light, art-heavy pirate horror RPG based on and compatible with Mork Borg. It takes that fast, filthy, dangerous Borg energy and drops it into the Dark Caribbean, where treasure maps are suspicious, the dead refuse to stay put, and basically everything in the ocean wants you gone. Don't get it twisted though, you're not the noble heroes of the Seven Seas. You're playing greedy scoundrels, cursed survivors, occult weirdos, violent criminals, and the exact type of person who hears, nobody's ever returned from that island, and immediately starts looking for a boat. The whole fantasy clicks almost instantly. You find a ship, pull together a questionable crew, chase treasure, raid ports, upgrade your vessel, and pick fights with things you should have sailed away from several miles ago. Maybe you become infamous. Maybe the Kraken eats you. Maybe your crew throws you overboard because you decided you were going to keep the cursed idol under your bunk after everybody specifically told you not to. Then you roll up another pirate and get back out there. It's as good as that. Pipin. That immediate identity is one of the things I love about it. Pirate Borg doesn't spend forever explaining why you should think it's cool. You look at the cover, you flip through 5 pages, and you already know what kind of night this is going to be.
What's that book about?
Oh, this is something special.
It's not about carefully polishing your heroic destiny. It's about watching your crew make a plan, destroy the plan, argue over who destroyed the plan, and then somehow survive because one lunatic brought explosives. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
This is, of course, the Starter Set Society, so we have to start with the Starter Set. Inside the box, you're getting 2 softcover booklets, the Player's Guidebook and the new adventure, Trapped in the Tropics. Then you've got tokens, reference cards, poster maps, creation sheets, character sheets, 12 dice, and even dry erase markers. And, wow, 0 rum bottles. which is either responsible product design or a missed opportunity. Possibly both.
Why is the rum always gone?
The important thing isn't just that there's a lot inside, it's that most of that actually helps you run the game. The maps give everyone something clear to look at. The tokens let you drop threats and characters onto the table without stopping to explain where every redcoat, zombie, or deeply suspicious pirate standing.
I didn't even realize there was piracy happening.
The reference cards keep the useful rules close, and having the dice, sheets, and character building tools already in the box means you're not sending a brand new player on a shopping trip before game night. And even better, the inside of the box doubles as a GM screen. What we look for at FFG is a game box we can whip out on a whim and get the game going with maximum fun and minimal panic reading. And Pirate Borg understands that assignment.
And this is the upper...
Enough! Do you want my head to explode?
The player's guidebook is basically the crew's onboarding. It gives your players what they need to build characters, understand the core rules, grab some gear, mess with relics and rituals, and start making choices that are almost certainly going to become the GM's problem. The rules are kept lean on purpose. Pirate Borg wants you to get from zero to bad decision as quickly as possible. You roll up a pirate, figure out what kind of disaster they are, and get them onto the island. Now, Pirate Borg's classes, they do a lot of the character work for you. You could be a brute, a rapscallion, a buccaneer, a swashbuckler, a zealot, a sorcerer, a haunted soul, or a tall tale. The names alone give you something to play. You hear rapscallion, and you know that player is about to become a problem. Probably in character, probably out of character. Either way, that's your problem now.
We are also real pirates in the real world, so...
That fast identity is great for newbies. Instead of staring at a blank sheet, trying to invent a whole fantasy biography, they can grab onto a strong concept and start discovering the character through play. And since this is Pirate Borg, there's always a solid chance they'll discover that character's replacement before the session's over.
Yeah, well, it's been days since I've cut myself on my sword. Oh, no, there we go.
Now we get to the real heart of the starter set, Trapped in the Tropics. And damn, is that art nice. I'm gonna keep this spoiler safe because this is absolutely something you should experience at your table. The basic setup is that your crew has been hired to find a shipwreck on a jungle island. That's the clean version. And because this is Pirate Borg, the clean version walks the plank pretty damn fast.
Walk the plank.
What did the bird say?
The adventure is designed for both new and experienced players and GMs, and it's built to run roughly 3 to 5 sessions. That's a great size for a starter adventure. It gives the group enough time to learn how the system moves, settle into their characters, and have something that feels like a real pirate story rather than a 40-minute rules demo. Your goal sounds simple. Find the shipwreck. The island, however, has its own plans. You're gonna deal with British redcoats, rival pirates, booby traps, zombies, cursed relics, and dozens of new monsters and NPCs waiting to turn a straightforward recovery job into a full-on tropical nightmare.
Time to go.
That's exactly the kind of structure I want for a new group. You have a clear reason to be there, so nobody's sitting around asking what the adventure is supposed to be. But once you're on the island, the situation opens up. Other factions are moving, the environment is dangerous, the dead are getting involved. Everybody wants something, and your crew has to decide who to fight, who to trust, and which incredibly obvious trap they're still going to walk into. It gives the GM direction without trapping players in the hallway. The shipwreck pulls everybody forward, but the competing groups and island threats keep applying pressure from the sides. That gives you exploration, negotiation, combat, treasure hunting, betrayal, and some proper horror without making the adventure feel like a disconnected checklist of little tutorial scenes.
I'm happy to schedule a technician to provide an in-home tutorial for the...
I do not need a tutorial.
And all the physical material in the box helps turn that situation into something that the players can immediately understand. You put the maps down, bring in the tokens, hand out the references, and suddenly everybody can see the problem forming right in front of them. That's the difference between an adventure that tells you a story and one that helps you run a night. Trapped in the Tropics gives you enough meat to feed the table for several sessions. A complete meal. A horrible meal. Probably cooked over a haunted fire. But a complete meal.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys!
So is this actually beginner friendly? Yeah, for the right beginners. If your table wants clean, heroic fantasy, perfectly balanced battles, and a gentle safety rail around every bad choice, this probably isn't the first box I'd hand them. But if somebody tells you they want pirates, horror, fast rules, treasure, monsters, and a real possibility that the whole plan ends in flames, this box makes a very strong argument for itself. A lot of the beginner support comes from how physical it is. The cards cut down on page flipping, the maps and tokens make complicated situations easier to read, and the adventure gives the GM a clear destination without scripting every move the players make. The main thing to understand though is the tone. Pirate Borg is dark, grimy, weird, and lethal. Failure isn't something the game tries to hide from you. Failure is half the story. For the wrong table, that feels harsh. For the right one, the danger is exactly why every roll matters. Because if nobody's worried about the cursed relic, the zombie horde, the rival pirates, or the thing moving beneath the ship, then why are we even wearing the hat? And speaking of cursed aesthetics, this episode is sponsored by Godmachine. If Pirate Borg is a tabletop side of dark fantasy pirate chaos, Godmachine's the modern wall art and apparel side of that same universe. They make grim, heavy, gothic artwork, prints, and clothing that feels like it belongs in the same tavern where a stranger just sold you a map. And yeah, that map definitely belonged to a dead dude. Godmachine sent over 2 very special epic prints for this run, and they are both going to you guys. Fearless few. That's right, we're doing our first giveaway. To enter, comment entered below and tell us your favorite Starter Set Society episode so far. Or, if you're new here, what game you want us to cover next. We're going to choose one eligible winner at random from the YouTube comments, both in this episode and the one coming next time, and cover the shipping, verify the entry, and announce the winner during those episodes. Follow us on Instagram and Threads too, because that's where we're going to post future reminders, behind the scenes stuff, giveaway updates, and instructions for the winner on the video once we announce it. And if you want to check out Godmachine yourself, and you really should, use code FearlessView26 at checkout for a juicy discount. Now let's get back to the game before those pirates jack our loot. Now, if the starter set was the best way aboard, the core rulebook is where Pirate Borg becomes a full campaign machine. This is a chill 100-some page book with 8 character classes, naval combat, stats for like 18 vessels, more than 80 NPCs and monsters, over 90 tables, and the Curse of Skeleton Point. That's a sandbox adventure with 11 pirate-themed locations. That toolkit matters because pirate campaigns burn through ideas fast. You're going to need rumors, ships, jobs, strange islands, treasure, enemies, cargo, disasters, and enough unexpected nonsense to keep the world moving when the crew ignores the obvious plot and kidnaps the bartender instead.
I just thought you needed a stupid bartender or something.
The core rulebook gives the GM material they can actually reach for during play. It doesn't just tell you what Pirate Borg is. It gives you enough pieces to keep generating Pirate Borg, and the Curse of Skeleton Point feels just like the right move after Trapped in the Tropics. The starter set adventure gives you a focused mission on one dangerous island. Skeleton Point gives the crew a wider sandbox, with multiple locations they can explore, exploit, survive, or completely destroy. That, my friends, is a campaign. And that's where the game proves it's more than just Mork Borg wearing a pirate hat.
If I wasn't Jamaican, then why would I wear this hat?
Then we get to Down Among the Dead, which takes everything strange about Pirate Borg and pushes it even further out to sea.
Well, Blind Man's Cove it is.
This also 150-some page expansion has new classes, skills, motivations, house rules, 3 full adventures, and generators for things like Jolly Rogers, islands, coral reefs, and coinage. The big idea running through it is the Locker, a supernatural afterlife for drowned sailors. So, in Pirate Borg, dying doesn't necessarily mean your problems are over. It may just mean your old problems were a little drier.
You're afraid to get wet!
This is a brilliant tool for a lethal game. A dead crew doesn't automatically mean the whole campaign gets thrown away. They can wake up somehow, somewhere worse, stripped of what they had, surrounded by other undead sailors and drowned wrecks, and forced to find a way back. That turns death from a hard stop into another adventure hook. The 3 adventures show off 3 very different flavors of pirate horror. Lost to the Locker starts with the crew already dead, stranded in Davy Jones' locker, which is such a good premise, I'm honestly annoyed I didn't come up with it myself. Venom in the Veins, however, takes you into a haunted snake temple where the walls hiss and the ghost of a malevolent druid stalks the halls. Then, Into the Maelstrom goes full gothic castle on a boat with Albrecht the Tideborn, a vampire lord and his crew. Sea vamps? Count me in!
This thing has killed most of the crew.
Maelstrom feels like the perfect season finale. Trapped in the Tropics gets the crew onto the island. Skeleton Point opens up the campaign. Then Into the Maelstrom puts a vampire lord's floating nightmare on the horizon and basically says, "You people said you wanted more." This is exactly how an ecosystem should escalate. And finally, we have this absolute unit of a Game Master screen. It's a 5-panel screen with glow-in-the-dark looking artwork on the front, and the GM side is packed with generators, quick stats, tables, ritual and relic rules, naval references, and a ship diagram. Basically, all the stuff you want close when the crew suddenly asks, "What ship is that? What are they carrying? Can we fire first? Can I eat this?" The answer to that last one is probably no. That player will not listen. The GM screen cannot fix that. But it does complete the table. That's something this whole line does extremely well.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
So what should you actually buy? If you're completely new or don't want to risk the cash going all in blind, just start with a starter set. It gives you everything you need to find out whether this game works for you and your crew. If everybody finishes Trapped in the Tropics and immediately wants another voyage, grab the core rulebook. That's where the full campaign toolkit lives. If you already know you want the supernatural side turned all the way up to 10, Down Among the Dead is where the ocean gets much, much stranger. And if you're planning to run this more than once, the GM screen is genuinely useful, not just another nice piece of art to put beside the table. Basically, the starter set gets you sailing. The core rulebook gives you the ship. Down Among the Dead drags you under the water, and the GM screen helps you pretend that was always the plan. That's the ecosystem, and there looks to be much, much more on the horizon. Pirate Borg is easily one of the strongest starter ecosystems we've covered, and right now it's sitting at the top of my personal Game of the Year list. The starter set gives new players enough structure to get moving without feeling like training wheels. The core rulebook turns that first adventure into a real campaign. Down Among the Dead takes the world somewhere bigger, darker, and much weirder, and the Game Master screen pulls the whole table together. The production quality is excellent, the artwork is insane, and nearly everything in these boxes feel like something you're actually going to use. If your table wants Orlando Bloom, clean morality, and guaranteed safe outcomes, sail somewhere else. But if your group wants cracked out Jack Sparrow, cursed islands, shipwrecks, rival crews, undead sailors, sea monsters, dark magic, and fast rules, and the kind of decision making that makes the GM quietly close their eyes, Pirate Borg is going to be a problem. A great problem. A filthy, cursed, treasure-hungry problem.
Gentlemen, milady, you will always remember this as the day that you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow.
Quick reminder before we go. This is our first giveaway. Want one of the epic Godmachine prints and a little swag bag of goodies from them? To enter, comment entered below and tell us your favorite Starter Set Society episode so far. Or if you're new here, what game you want us to cover next. Like I said before, the winner will be randomly selected from the eligible comments, verified and announced during the next episodes. And we are doing one more the following episode after that. And if you've already played Pirate Borg, I want the disaster report. Did your crew survive? Who betrayed everybody? Who touched the very obviously cursed relic? Of course somebody touched it. Let me know down below. If you're new here, this is Fearless View Gaming. We cover starter sets, tabletop RPGs, actual play tools, news, and everything that helps you get the game out of the box and onto your table. Like, subscribe, and join the Starter Set Society. And until next time, stay fearless.
Rising up as the fear